Hey friends, happy June. I'm here today with a little improvisation lesson for you. This one, I'm hoping to keep it shorter than some of our other lessons. It's just one little exercise, and it features the major pentatonic scale. And I think that you will find it to be very pleasing and fun, and hopefully fulfilling. And hopefully, it helps you feel like you're expanding your improvisatory muscle. So, the inspiration for this exercise is a piece that I'm also going to analyze and do a video on this month, which is Colors of the Wind from the movie Pocahontas. So, let's just listen to a little bit of what we're going to be working with. So that is the melody that I want to use as an inspiration for today's exercise. And if so in the full video we'll go through that melody and exactly what it is and why it is the way it is and the chords that go under it. But for now, all we need to know is that it is the major pentatonic scale that's being used. So, for example, if we're I'll do it in the key of C for simplicity's sake. If we move the song to the key of C, the notes that are used in the melody would be C, D, which is the second of the scale, E, the third. Now we go up to the fifth, G, and then finally the sixth, A. So we put all those together, that's what we call the major pentatonic scale. So it's got 5 notes, penta meaning 5. So 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6. Those are the tones that we're going to use. So what I wanted to do for today's exercise is actually use the rhythms from Colors of the Wind and use the same scale tones, but we're gonna come up with the notes ourselves. Okay, so the first thing that we want to do is sing the melody. At least, let's work on the first 2 lines. So, we'll do it in the key of C, just for simplicity. Da 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 da. Let's stop there. Okay, so now sing that with me. So starting on this note, G, da 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 dee dum, da 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 da. Right? I don't think we need to use words for today. I think today is all about just the pitches. So now let's try to make sure we get the sound of the scale in our head that we're going to be working with. So da 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 dee da dee do da. So the note I started on, da, that's actually not the tonic. That is the 5th of the scale. So the song starts 5, 3. It doesn't actually use the tonic right at the beginning. It skips over the tonic. It goes sol, mi, right? 5, 3. So that's why I started the scale down there, just to kind of capture the feel of that melody. But you can start it on do as well. So sol, do, there's your do, sol, do, re, mi, sol, la, sol, mi, re, do. You can also sing numbers. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 8, 6, 5, 3, 2, 1. I cannot stress how important that is to be able to sing that. Your musicality, your improvisation, so many aspects of your musicianship are going to depend on you being able to hear what you're doing before you do it. So it's one thing to be able to play the piano keys in a particular way or play whatever your instrument is, but it's another thing to be able to hear sounds in your head, know what they are, and then play your instrument according to what you hear in your head. Because there's more music stuck in your head than you know. You have to train your ear and your brain and your fingers to be able to let it out into the instrument and then into the world. So anyway, let's practice that scale, singing 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 8, 6, 5, 3, 2, 1. And if you want to get fancy, 1, 6, 5, 6, 1. You can add a little lower, a little dip there at the bottom. So now, let's do something that has the rhythm of the first line of the song. Da 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 dun dun dun. So it's basically and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2. So it's a measure of eighth notes and then 2 quarter notes. You don't have to think about that. Just think of the song. But I'm going to try to change the melody a little bit. So how about da da dee dee da 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 dee da dee 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 da do dee da dee da 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 dee da do dee do da dee da dee da do dee. Now I'm sort of cheating because I'm playing some nice chords under it, so it automatically sounds cool. So let me not cheat. Let me not do that. Da 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 dee 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 da do da 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 dee da 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 do dee o ya da 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 dee ya da do da ya dee dee ya da da do dee do. So I'm trying to use some of the motifs from the original song. Now the point of this exercise isn't to recreate the song, or even, it's not even really to imitate the song, but it's just an inspiration. It's just like something to work with. Because I think one of the biggest problems with when people tackle improvising is they give themselves too wide and broad of an assignment, like, oh, just sit down and be creative. Well, that can be very, very hard. So it's easier to give yourself some parameters. So in this exercise, the parameter is just use the pentatonic scale and the rhythm of a particular given song. So I tried to have in my example, I tried to have the first phrase end low and the second phrase end higher to give that sense of A phrase, B phrase, right? A phrase, B phrase. So in the original, da 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 falling, da 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 rising, and then even higher, da 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 da, but falling, the same falling from the A phrase, but it had a different beginning, right? So we're seeing this poetic structure, right? And then the fourth phrase is often the answer to the queries posed by the first three phrases. That's a very common form. So yada da dee yada do, and it falls again, but in a different way with some nice little changes of direction in there. So I tried to get some of that, and the other motif that I tried to copy was the da dun da dun da da, where you have like for example 6 5 5 3 3 2 2 1. So that's obviously a stepping down, a scalar pattern stepping down. The difference is you repeat each note that you arrive at before going to the next one. So 6 5 5 3 3 2 2 1. That's a beautiful motif that comes up a lot in this song. So now I'm going to have you try one. So here's your scale. And if you sing a note out of the scale, don't worry about it. This is just something to enjoy and something to try out. It's not like something to get worried about the rules with. So here's your scale. Pick a starting note, before you start. So either da or da. Okay, so here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so that's the first two phrases. Oh, by the way, you should be singing this at this point, so don't even pick up your instrument yet. Just sing. All right, now, so I expect that might have been kind of hard for some of you guys. I mean, I'm not sure. It kind of depends on how much you're able to just let go. like just let go of your inhibitions, your, anxieties or whatever about, oh, I don't know what note to do, and just try to let your inner ear guide you, so and if you end up singing the actual song Colors of the Wind, that's fine too. So this is just like a fun little opportunity to explore. So let's try it again. I'll do it a little slower. How about this? Let's try this together. Let's just do up and down the scale. Da 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 dee 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 do do da 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 da. Okay, now you got those notes in your head. Now let's try the rhythm from the song. So it's and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 2, 3. Let's keep going. And 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2. Fourth phrase, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. All right. So I'm going to do it once more. And then this is... and then our next step will be to pick up our instruments. Okay, so I'll do one more and then we'll pick up our instruments. So I'll try to really mimic the phraseology of the original song here. So let's see. But I'm gonna start, just to change things up, I'm gonna start on do instead of sol. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Da 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 dee da dee do dee da 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 dee da do da da ya dee da da do 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 da 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 dee da do. So that actually ended up being quite similar to the original song. So this is it's just something to get your brain a little more elasticy, just kind of stretch those muscles that you don't really use that often. All right, so now it's time to pick up the instrument. And for some of you, that's piano. That I think we've got some fiddles, some flutes, some singers. If you're a singer, then you're just sticking with the voice. But the important thing to keep in mind is always, whenever you're working on improv stuff, always sing first. Because like I said, you want to actually develop your ear to be really truly hearing these melodies and know what it is, instead of, for example, like I might know if a certain song has a certain chord, I might know that particular notes sound good over that chord because I've studied what that chord is. But my improvisation is not going to sound nearly as good unless it also has a melodic, lyrical quality to it, and that can only come from the inner ear, not from simply, oh, I know that this scale sounds cool, let me try this scale. Right? If I don't already know what that scale is going to sound like before I play it, then it's not really sincere. It's just a mechanical motion that I have read in a book somewhere is going to sound cool over a particular chord, but it's not really coming from me, in terms of the melody. So that's a big thing to keep in mind with improvisation. So anyway, but on the other hand, I will say one more thing. It is also cool to explore sounds that you don't already know what they sound like. So for example, like I'm going to try right now, live, I'm going to try some sounds that I've never tried before. Like, for example, let's see here. just some random stuff that I threw together there. I've never done that before. So now, I sort of, that was something where I let my fingers guide me, and then I was listening and trying to, feel, okay, do I like that sound? And so that's the opposite direction from what I was talking about earlier, where you let your ear guide your fingers. And they're both important, but ultimately I do think the inner ear is more important than the fingers. So now we have our instruments, and I want to do the same exact exercise. So we are, is C major really going to work? Yeah, you know what? Some of you play fiddle, some of you play mandolin, some of you play flute. Let's move this up to D major. Let's move it up to D major for the instrumental portion. Okay? So this is going to be D, E, F sharp, A, and B. Those are your 5 notes. So the 5th is going to be A, B, D, E, F sharp, A, B. This is going to be a very, very familiar set of notes for those of you that play Irish music. It is basically your sort of home tones for your D major reels and jigs. Any of those tunes like that. All right. So let's give it a try together, and then we'll talk about it. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. The exact rhythms aren't that important. Like, you don't have to match if you add 1/8 note or whatever. That's not a big deal. The reason why I'm using a song as a basis for this improvisation is to build space into your improvisation, whether you like it or not. Because some people, when they start improvising, they forget to leave space, and they forget that you should be trying to craft a melody that actually is reminiscent of a song. And songs are sung, and so they have breaths, they have space, right? They have, at the ends of the phrases, they have a couple of beats of rest to prepare you for the next line. So that's why using a song as a structure can really help you with the quality of your improvisations, because you're going to develop that lyrical, melodic quality with pacing and breaths and spaces, right? So I tried to explore a couple of different things there. I went up above the octave up to the high F sharp, and then I also went down here, which I think if you're playing flute, you don't have those lowest B and that low B and low A. You would only go down to the D. But let's try it. Let's try it one more time, and then I'm going to give you one more exercise before we call it a day. All right. So one more time. So pick a note that you're going to start on. Maybe it's D. Maybe it's A. It could be anything. You could start on the E, the F sharp, the B, whatever you want. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 3, 4. Right. So I hope you found some cool notes that you liked that time, and maybe some little melodic figures or passages that you can file away in your brain as something that you like. Little things like that, or maybe you end up doing a skipping pattern. That can be really nice too. Or hey, just straight up and down the scale can be very nice. Or how about a change of direction? Right, up and down, da 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 dum da 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 dum ba da da bum. Right. Last thing I want to do is I want to encourage you guys to actually engage in some totally free improv over this pentatonic scale. So now that we've kind of worked out a more specific muscle, which is, sticking to that form, the verse form from the song, now let's just kind of let loose and have fun and see what happens. So I'm going to do a couple minutes of improv in with no specific rhythm, no specific guidelines. Now I'm gonna actually try to limit myself, because sometimes my left hand starts going crazy and I start playing jazzier chords, but I'm gonna try to limit myself to only playing in the pentatonic scale. So we'll use D major, so D, E, F sharp, A, and B, and I'll see what I can come up with. So I'll go for about a minute, and then maybe that'll give you some inspiration. And then when it's your turn, I'll play some chords just to give you a little something in the background to put your improvisation over. So here we go. I'll give it a try. All right, so that was just kind of a little, honestly, just noodling. Just, what's the inspiration for that? It's hard to say. It's just music that I've heard during my life. Just very simple kind of universal figures, like oscillating, skipping, crossing over. Of course, that's only a pianistic thing, but and then just descending in steps. That's what I was doing in the bass. I know that all of those bass notes sound good because the pentatonic collection, by definition, is 5 notes that sound good in any order, in any stack, in any combination. So I know I can just freely, just really enjoy playing whatever bass note I want to, and it's going to sound good. So speaking of which, now I'm going to play some chords and left-hand stuff while you guys just sort of go crazy on the melody side. I would encourage you, don't start playing really fast flourishes right away. Start with some slow tones and see if you can really find a nice melody. Think for those of you that play Irish music, maybe imagine like you're composing a slow air, and then it kind of starts to develop into a little bit of a, more flourishes, more fast notes. So here we go. Start whenever you're ready. I'm just going to start playing some tones. Here we go. right, guys. I hope that you enjoyed that little exercise in freedom and stretching some unusual muscles that you don't use too often. And hopefully you were able to relax into some of those notes. And I would encourage you on a frequent basis, pick up your instrument and just improvise. Okay, so I can talk all day about, oh, here's one technique, here's another technique, you can try this, you can try that. But really the answer is you have to just do it. You have to just become comfortable with improvising. So improvise with your voice, improvise with your instrument. Try giving yourself parameters, and then, to cool off, take away those parameters and let yourself just exercise some freedom. Those are the best tips that I can give you for improv. All right. Hope you enjoyed this lesson. I will see you guys next time.